Romanov dynasty of Tsar Nicholas II of Russia. Doomed, the Hohenzollern dynasty of Kaiser Wilhelm II of Germany. Doomed, the Habsburg dynasty of Emperor Franz Joseph of Austria. As the battles rage in Europe, this is a look backward at the old order and the old dynasties that will not survive this war. This is royalty at play in Denmark, uninhibited by that strange new device, the motion picture camera. The vast, entwined royal forest of Europe has one of its roots here, in the family tree of Christian IX, whose daughter married Edward VII of England. The other trunk belongs to Britain's Queen Victoria, who ruled her empire for 63 years and left 34 grandchildren and 77 great-grandchildren. In the twin trunks of European royalty, the connecting link, grandson of both Christian and Victoria, is George V of England. George is married to his second cousin, Mary, who has borne him 5 sons and 1 daughter. 2 of the sons will be kings, Edward VIII, who will abdicate for the woman he loves, and George VI. The Hanovers of England are cousins of the Romanovs of Russia. The first cousin of George V is the Emperor of all the Russias, His Imperial Majesty, Nicholas II. He becomes Tsar in 1894, marries a German princess. Through her, the Romanovs of Russia are related to the Hohenzollerns of Germany. Like the Tsar, Wilhelm II of Germany is a nephew of Britain's Edward VII, whom he detested. Uncle Bertie once called him the most brilliant failure in history. George V, Wilhelm's cousin, is a man of empire. Such grand spectacles as a coronation ceremony in Delhi in 1911 fill the Kaiser with envy, even though George is a constitutional monarch with no real power, while Wilhelm is absolute. Another source of rivalry is the British fleet, greatest in the world, in which George has a profound interest, and for which Wilhelm has a consuming jealousy. In Russia, the Tsar retreats into the safe, frivolous world of family and court, oblivious to the seething ferment of his land. The Tsar's whole reign is clouded by eerie omens. The most tragic, his son's illness. He is an autocrat in the wrong century. Kaiser Wilhelm II of Germany is a different sort. Born with a severely deformed left arm, the result of a doctor's mistake during delivery, he spends his life hiding it from the world and overcompensating for it. Strong and strenuous, he loves the bluff camaraderie at his East Prussian estate and that carefully arranged slaughter, the stag hunt. The Kaiser is passionate about matters like military bearing. To improve his, he uses this as an office chair. He has 12 full-time valets and more than 200 uniforms for every occasion. He wears an admiral's uniform to the aquarium and has been known to change into a British uniform to eat plum pudding. This is Kaiser Wilhelm, who likes to abuse his leading ministers by kicking them in the backside and publicly calling them donkeys and mutton heads and noodles. In his impatient hands, the destiny of Germany, as well as of Europe, is now entrusted. before the war bursts with energy, and royalty sets the pace. Crown Prince Friedrich Wilhelm, the Kaiser's son, goes bobsledding, and the imitators, aristocrats and nouveau riche, follow suit. Life is an endless whirl of sport and travel, a gilded circle. The automobile has arrived. The Kaiser is fascinated by these new inventions, and Germany, with its dynamism, is quick to exploit them. The airplane, an American invention, gains its first real acceptance in Europe. The Kaiser takes a keen personal interest ever since attending the first flying demonstration in Germany in 1909. He has encouraged Count Ferdinand von Zeppelin to build a 420-foot airship, first flown in 1900. In these pleasant, relaxed days, the restless Kaiser keeps on the move. He is happiest in two spheres, military and naval, and is determined that afloat, Germany shall be supreme, not second to Britain. The German economy pounds ahead, dynamic, productive, inventive. The Kaiser, sensing his rising power, has said, "God has called us to civilize the world. We are missionaries of human progress." For those who are listening, the words are ominous indeed. All sorts of niceties are observed when king meets king and cousin cousin. George V wears a spiked German helmet when he is greeted by the Kaiser in Berlin. The occasion, the wedding of the Kaiser's daughter. George goes to Paris for several state visits, but Wilhelm only once, in 1878 at the age of 19. "The feverish haste and restlessness repelled me," he said. "I never wanted to see the French capital again." He never would. But Paris and all of the other capitals of Europe continue to attract the wandering wealthy of the international set. As Winston Churchill will write, "The old world in its sunset was fair to see." Beneath the surface of this whipped cream society, there are new and profound developments. Urbanization, the growth of the cities. The new middle class, the white-collar worker. Telephone networks spring up, trolley lines, bus systems. London triples in size between 1850 and 1911. Berlin grows by 1 million in the 3 decades before 1914. Everywhere, change, drastic and sweeping, is in the air. Along with the growth of great cities comes the concomitant, slums, poverty, want. The grim sociology that H.G. Wells and Bernard Shaw are writing about is the festering, disfiguring scar of urbanization. Labor unrest is common, strikes widespread. Miners, dock workers, transport workers, munitions workers, the building trades, a general strike of all workers. There are more than 2,000 strikes in England alone in 1912. In Russia, great change is also underway, although the Czar seems impervious to it. The big estates are being broken up. By 1914, peasants will own nearly 80% of the land. Yet the awful poverty persists. Russia's economy has the fastest growth rate in Europe, although from a very low base, will rank 5th in the world when war comes. For the laborer, hours are long, working conditions abominable. Labor unrest increases. 2,000 strikes in 1912. Another 2,000 in 1913. 4,000, involving 1.5 million men in the first half of 1914. One of the worst is the general strike at the Baku oil fields in May of that year. Little aware of the changes that are sweeping his vast land, the Czar rejects advice that he regain the confidence of his people. It is up to them to regain my confidence, he says. On this tour in 1913, celebrating the 300th anniversary of the Romanov dynasty, he is even convinced that he is a popular ruler. In 1905, in the Baltic Bay of Bjorko, Wilhelm, in an expansive mood, hands Nicholas a draft treaty calling for Russo-German mutual aid and inviting France, Russia's ally, to join. Nicholas signs it. When the two monarchs return home, their ministers will have nothing to do with this arrangement, and France rejects it out of hand. All the long years of my reign, my colleagues, the monarchs of Europe, have paid no attention to what I have to say. Soon, with my great navy to endorse my words, they will be more respectful. So speaks the Kaiser, but his meddling is resented. He is determined to build an empire based on sea power and trade, as Britain has done. Twice, Wilhelm visits Turkey to court the Ottoman monarch, Sultan Abdul Hamid II, known also as Abdul the Damned and the Red Assassin. His intrigues make Europe nervous, especially England, not eager for trade competition, and Russia with her own designs in the Middle East. Now Europe's alliances are hardening. The triple alliance of Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Italy. The triple entente of Britain, France, and Russia. And the Kaiser's great fear of encirclement is magnified. As Wilhelm's fears grow, he turns to his one loyal ally, weak, decadent Austria-Hungary. Old Franz Joseph has been emperor for more than 60 years. A Habsburg, unrelated to the other great monarchs. Flattered by Wilhelm's attention, but privately contemptuous of his mannerisms. His polyglot country, that madhouse of nationalities, is torn with internal dissension. His empire has not won a battle since 1848, or even fought one since 1866. He is the man of the 19th century, absolute, obsessed by ritual. It would all be so charming and operetta-like if it were not so deadly serious. One day in a Viennese garden, his nephew and heir, Archduke Franz Ferdinand, is handed a sentimental bouquet. And a few months later, other ordinary men are handed flowers as they march all over Europe. After 2 gunshots, after Sarajevo. Sarajevo has ignited a trail of gunpowder that leads from the Balkans to Russia, to Germany, to France, and to England. The explosion is tearing this lovely world asunder. There have been 4 great dynasties in Europe. Only the British, the one constitutional monarchy, will survive the war. For the autocrats, Habsburg, Romanov, Hohenzollern, this road ahead, this road of suffering, upheaval, and death, is for them the road to doom.